Bruce Lee was a very famous person all over the world. People know him as a great martial artist and a famous actor. He was born in San Francisco, in America, but he spent his childhood in Hong Kong. He became very famous because of his exciting and new kung fu movies. These films were watched and loved by people in many countries. Bruce Lee was not just an actor. He was also a very skilled martial artist. He even created his own special style of fighting. He named it Jeet Kune. Many people still learn and practice Jeet Kune today. Bruce Lee changed how people thought about martial arts in films and in real life. He had a big influence around the world, and this influence continues now. People still remember Bruce Lee as a symbol of strength, skill, and confidence. His films are still popular and watched by new generations. His ideas about martial arts, philosophy, and life are still discussed and important. However, Bruce Lee's life was cut short. He died suddenly at a young age, only 32 years old. His death was unexpected, and there was mystery and many stories about what happened. This book will look at Bruce Lee's life, his important work, his global impact on film and martial arts, and the controversy around his early death. 2. Early life and family. Bruce Lee was born in San Francisco, in America, on the 27th of November 1940. His birth name was Lee Junfan. Because he was born in the United States, he was an American citizen. His parents were touring America at the time with a Chinese opera company. His father, Lee Hoichuan, was a famous opera singer from Hong Kong. His mother, Grace Ho, was from Shanghai and had European and Chinese family. When Bruce was 3 months old, his family went back to Hong Kong. Life in Hong Kong became difficult when Japan started the Second World War and took control of the city. For almost 4 years, Hong Kong was under Japanese rule. This was a hard time for Bruce and his family. Bruce grew up in a family with connections to the arts. His father's work in opera meant Bruce was around acting from a very young age. When he was just a baby, he appeared in a film. He was given the stage name Li Su Lung, which means Little Dragon in Chinese. As a child in Hong Kong, Bruce went to school. He first went to Tak Sunday School and later to LaSalle College. His father also taught him Tai Chi, a Chinese martial art, when he was 7 years old. At 9 years old, Bruce played a main role in a film called The Kid. By the time he was 18, he had already been in 20 films. Bruce's family background was quite unique in Hong Kong. His mother's family was wealthy and well-known. This meant Bruce grew up in a comfortable home, even though Hong Kong faced many problems during and after the war. His family's cultural background and his early life experiences in both America and Hong Kong shaped the person he became. 3. Moving to America. In 1959, Bruce Lee decided to move to America. There were a few reasons for this big change. Firstly, Bruce had been in some trouble in Hong Kong. He was fighting in the streets, and his mother was worried he might get into serious problems with the police. She thought it would be better for him to leave Hong Kong. Also, Bruce was born in San Francisco, so he was an American citizen. His parents thought he should go back to the United States and use his citizenship. Bruce went to Seattle, a city in the USA. He lived with his older sister at first. To support himself, he started working in a restaurant. He washed dishes and did other jobs. But Bruce also had another skill: martial arts. He had been learning kung fu since he was young. In Seattle, Bruce began to teach kung fu to people he met. He called his way of teaching Junfan Kung Fu, which means Bruce Lee's Kung Fu. His first students were friends. One of his early students, Jesse Glover, helped him to teach. Bruce's classes were different because he accepted students from all backgrounds. At that time, it was not common for Chinese martial arts teachers to teach people who were not Chinese. As more people wanted to learn from Bruce, he decided to open a school. This first school was called the Li Jun Fan Gung Fu Institute. It was in Seattle. Bruce taught his own style of kung fu there. He was becoming known for his skills and his new ideas about martial arts. During his time in Seattle, Bruce studied at university. He went to the University of Washington. He studied different subjects, including drama, psychology, and philosophy. These studies were important to him and influenced his ideas about life and martial arts. Seattle was also where Bruce met Linda Emery. Linda was one of his students. She was learning kung fu from him. They got to know each other, and they fell in love. Bruce Lee and Linda Emery got married in 1964. This was a new chapter in Bruce's life, both in America and in his personal life. 4. Making a new fighting style. After moving to America, Bruce Lee started to teach martial arts. He called his first style Jun Fan Gung Fu. This was his way of understanding and teaching Wing Chun, the style he learned in Hong Kong. In Seattle, he taught his friends and people he met. His first student was Jesse Glover, who knew judo. It was new at that time because Bruce Lee taught people from different races. Usually, Chinese martial arts schools only taught Chinese people. During this time, Bruce Lee also developed his famous one-inch punch. This was a way to show how much power you can have even with a very small movement. Later, Bruce Lee moved to Oakland, California. There, he opened a second school with James Yim Lee. James Lee was older and had a lot of experience in Chinese martial arts. Together, they made the Oakland School a place to learn and grow in martial arts. James Lee also helped Bruce Lee meet Ed Parker, an American martial artist. Ed Parker invited Bruce Lee to show his skills at the Long Beach International Karate Championships in 1964. This was a big event for martial arts. Bruce Lee showed amazing things. He did push-ups using only 2 fingers. He also showed the one-inch punch again, surprising everyone with its power. At this event, Bruce Lee also spoke about martial arts. He said that old styles of karate and kung fu were too traditional. He thought martial arts needed to change and become more modern and practical. This idea was new, and some people did not agree with him. Around this time, Bruce Lee had a fight with another martial artist named Wang Jackman. This fight became very famous, and people still talk about it today. There are different stories about why they fought and what happened. Some say the martial arts community told Bruce Lee to stop teaching non-Chinese people. When he did not stop, Wang Jackman challenged him to a fight. Other stories say Bruce Lee said he could beat anyone, and Wang Jackman wanted to prove him wrong. Some people who watched the fight said it was long and lasted about 20 minutes. But Bruce Lee and his wife said it was very quick, only about 3 minutes, and Bruce Lee won. No matter what really happened, this fight was important for Bruce Lee. He felt that the fight with Wang Jackman took too long and was not as good as it should have been. He started to think more about his fighting style. He realized that traditional martial arts, like Wing Chun, had many rules and fixed movements. Bruce Lee thought that these old styles were not always useful in a real fight, especially in the street. He wanted to create a style that was more free, flexible, and effective. This thinking led Bruce Lee to create a new martial art. In 1967, He called it Jeet Kune. This name means the way of the intercepting fist. Jeet Kune was not just one style. It was a mix of different things that Bruce Lee thought were useful. He took footwork from boxing, kicks from kung fu, and ideas from fencing. He believed in what he called the style of no style. This means not being limited to one way of fighting, but being able to adapt to any situation. Bruce Lee felt that even his Jun Fan Gung Fu style was too limited. Jeet Kune Do became more than just techniques. It became a philosophy about fighting and about life. The main ideas of Jeet Kune Do are simple and direct. It is about being practical, using what works in a real fight. It is about being flexible, changing your moves to fit different fighters and situations. It is about being fast, reacting quickly, and moving with speed. And it is about being efficient, using the least amount of energy to get the best result. Bruce Lee wanted to get rid of complicated and unnecessary movements found in many traditional martial arts. Jeet Kune Do is about being free, adaptable, and always finding the best way to fight for yourself. 5. Acting in America. After moving to America and starting his martial arts schools, Bruce Lee considered acting again. He had been an actor as a child in Hong Kong, gaining experience in front of the camera. In 1964, at a martial arts demonstration, he impressed television producer William Dozier. Dozier invited Bruce to audition for a role in a new television show. This show was planned to be called Number One Son, focused on Charlie Chan's son, but it never got made into a full series. Still, Dozier recognized Bruce's potential and talent for acting. In 1966, Bruce's acting career in America began to take off. He secured a significant role in another television show produced by Dozier, called The Green Hornet. This series was inspired by a famous radio show. Bruce played Kato, the masked assistant and skilled martial artist working alongside the Green Hornet. This role was his first major exposure to American television audiences. The Green Hornet was groundbreaking as one of the first American television shows to prominently feature Asian-style martial arts. However, working as an actor in America in the 1960s came with its own set of challenges. Bruce experienced frustrations within the Hollywood system. One significant issue was typecasting. Hollywood often limited opportunities for Asian actors, typically casting them in stereotypical roles. These roles rarely allowed for the full range of their acting abilities or personalities to be shown. Bruce was determined to break free from these limitations, but it was a constant struggle to find roles that were more than just simple stereotypes. He wanted to portray complex characters and express himself fully as an actor. Another challenge came during the filming of The Green Hornet itself. The show's director had a different vision for fight scenes, preferring a more traditional American style of fighting, mainly using boxing-like punches. Bruce Lee, a master of his own martial arts style, believed in more practical and efficient movements. He insisted on incorporating his own expertise into his fight choreography. He wanted the action to be authentic and reflect real martial arts techniques. This sometimes caused disagreements, but Bruce stood firm. His speed and unique style were so different that initially, camera crews found it difficult to capture his movements. He had to consciously slow down his actions to be properly filmed for television, which was another kind of artistic compromise. Despite these challenges, The Green Hornet gave Bruce Lee valuable experience and recognition. The show aired for one season, ending in 1967. Bruce was thankful to William Dozier for giving him this important first step into American show business. He saw it as the real beginning of his acting career in the West. During this time, he also built friendships on set, notably with Jean LaBelle, a stunt performer. They trained together, exchanging knowledge about their different martial arts and fighting styles. Even with the frustrations and limitations, Bruce Lee's time acting in America was a crucial period where he honed his skills and began to build his path towards international stardom, even if Hollywood wasn't quite ready for him yet. 6. Return to Hong Kong. In the early 1970s, Bruce Lee was working in America, but he was not happy. He had played Kato in the television show The Green Hornet, which was popular, but he wanted to do more. He felt that Hollywood did not understand him or give him good roles. He wanted to show his own ideas and skills. Someone gave Bruce Lee advice to go back to Hong Kong and make a film there. They said if he made a successful film in Hong Kong, Hollywood might notice him more. Bruce Lee thought this was a good idea. He decided to return to Hong Kong in 1971. When he arrived in Hong Kong, Bruce Lee was surprised. The Green Hornet was very popular there, and people knew him as Kato. He was offered film roles by different studios. He chose to work with Golden Harvest, a new film studio. He signed a contract to make 2 films. His first film with Golden Harvest was The Big Boss. In this film, Bruce Lee played the main role for the first time. It was directed by Lo Wei. The Big Boss was a big success in Asia. People loved Bruce Lee's martial arts skills and his energy on screen. The film made a lot of money and made Bruce Lee a star in Asia. After The Big Boss, Bruce Lee made another film called Fist of Fury in 1972. In this film, he played a famous character called Chen Zhen. Fist of Fury was even more successful than The Big Boss. It broke all box office records in Hong Kong. Bruce Lee became a huge star all over Asia. With his success, Bruce Lee got more control over his films. For his third film, Way of the Dragon, in 1972, he was not only the star, but also the writer and director. He even choreographed the fight scenes. In Way of the Dragon, he fought against Chuck Norris, a karate champion. This fight scene is now very famous. Way of the Dragon was another big hit. In a short time, Bruce Lee became the biggest film star in Asia. He was famous for his kung fu style and his strong personality. He changed martial arts films and made them more popular. His films were full of action and excitement, and people everywhere wanted to watch them. Bruce Lee's return to Hong Kong was a turning point in his career. He became a superstar and started to change the world of cinema. 7. Sudden death. In 1973, Bruce Lee was making a new film called Enter the Dragon. This was a big project, a movie made together by Hong Kong and America. During the making of this film, in May, Bruce Lee felt unwell. He was in a studio in Hong Kong when he suddenly fell down. He had strong headaches and fits. He went to the hospital. Doctors said he had swelling in his brain, which is called cerebral edema. They gave him medicine, and he got better and left the hospital. In July of the same year, Bruce Lee was in Hong Kong again. He was planning another film, Game of Death. On the 20th of July, he was supposed to have dinner with an actor, George Lazenby. Earlier that day, he met a producer, Raymond Chow, at his home to talk about Game of Death. They worked on the film plans until the afternoon. Later, Bruce Lee and Raymond Chow went to the home of Betty Ting Pei, who was also an actress and a colleague of Bruce Lee. They were there to discuss the film script. Raymond Chow then left to go to a dinner meeting. Bruce Lee said he felt tired and wanted to take a rest. He went to lie down for a nap at Betty Ting Pei's apartment. When it was time for dinner, Bruce Lee did not arrive. Raymond Chow came back to Betty Ting Pei's apartment to check on him. He could not wake Bruce Lee up. They called a doctor quickly. The doctor tried to help Bruce Lee for 10 minutes, but it was no use. They then took him to Queen Elizabeth Hospital in an ambulance. When they arrived at the hospital, doctors said Bruce Lee was already dead. He was only 32 years old. The news of Bruce Lee's sudden death was a shock to everyone. People all over the world were very sad. Many stories and ideas started to spread about why he died so young. The official reason for his death was given as cerebral edema, the swelling of the brain, caused by a reaction to a medicine called Equagesic. This medicine was a mix of aspirin and a relaxant. It was said that Bruce Lee had taken this medicine for a headache on that day. However, because Bruce Lee was so famous and died so suddenly, many other theories appeared. Some people thought he was murdered by gangs. Others believed in a family curse. Later, some experts suggested that heat stroke or drinking too much water might have caused his brain swelling. Bruce Lee's funeral was held in Hong Kong and then in Seattle, in America. He was buried in Lakeview Cemetery in Seattle. Many friends, family, and fans came to say goodbye to the martial arts star and movie icon. His death was a great loss, but his films and his ideas about martial arts continued to influence people around the world. 8. After death. Bruce Lee's last movie, Enter the Dragon, came out shortly after he died. It was a big success all over the world. People loved the action and Bruce Lee's skills. The movie made a lot of money and showed martial arts films to a wider audience. It is still seen as a very important action film today. Another film, Game of Death, was released later after Bruce Lee's death. He had started filming it before Enter the Dragon, but could not finish it. The film was completed using other actors and old footage of Bruce Lee. While it was not as popular as Enter the Dragon, it still showed his fighting style and ideas to fans. Even after his death, Bruce Lee continued to be very influential. He changed martial arts in films. Before him, fight scenes were often less realistic. Bruce Lee made them faster and more exciting. He showed new ways of fighting on screen and inspired many action movies that came after. Many actors and filmmakers say he had a big impact on their work. Bruce Lee's ideas about martial arts also had a lasting effect. He created his own style called Jeet Kune. This style is about being flexible and using what works best for you. Many people think Jeet Kune was important for the development of modern mixed martial arts, MMA. He taught that the best fighter is someone who can adapt and learn from different styles. His family has worked to keep his legacy alive. The Bruce Lee Foundation helps to share his ideas about martial arts and life. They organize events and support projects that promote his philosophy. They want to make sure that Bruce Lee's message of self-improvement and understanding continues to inspire people. Bruce Lee's writings about philosophy are also important. He wrote about self-knowledge, being honest with yourself, and living in the present moment. His ideas were influenced by different philosophies, like Taoism and Buddhism. Many people who are not martial artists also find his philosophical writings helpful and inspiring for their lives. Bruce Lee became more than just a martial artist or actor. He is a global icon. People around the world see him as a symbol of strength, skill, and confidence. He broke down barriers for Asian actors in Hollywood. He showed that Asian men could be strong and powerful on screen, which was different from old stereotypes. He is remembered as one of the most important martial artists of all time and a true legend.
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.